quite frankly, the world's getting a little crazier and will continue to do so. But that doesn't mean that you have to fall into that. The number one planetary trend that's happening right now that overshadows everything else, is the reason for everything, that is the entire direction of energy, consciousness, movement, and change on the planet right now, is freedom. Everything on this planet that is material will sooner or later decay. That's freedom. It's not death, it's actually freedom. For it goes back to its original state of energy. Everything goes back, it decays back to freedom. Keyword for 2016, disruptions in everything, everything. With consciousness coming in, realization coming to physical reality, it's going to blow the circuits off of everything that was contained. Important point here, technology is going exponential because of computing. There was a point, a defining point, where technology and all of its capacity exceeded that of the human mind. What happens next with the capacity of computing to now change everything? In the next 10 years, nearly every home in, I'm going to say the top 2/3 of the demographic profiles around the planet are going to have a robot. Robots are going to be in every part of life, manufacturing. They're going to be an integral part of healthcare. Tied in with that, there's something called the Internet of Things. Everything is going to have sensors. Every traffic signal, every road, every airplane, every grocery store, everything in your house is going to have sensors, not imposed by the government, not inflicted on you. It'll all be by choice. The next thing is 3D printing. In the opening video segment for this ProGnost, you saw a 3D printer printing a head. That's not tomorrow, that's today. The ability to print physical or human parts, body parts, is already here. It's already here. The ability to print anything is already here. The food that you eat is going to be printed. You live in the most amazing world where technology has exceeded the mind, but not consciousness. Nanotechnology means working at the atomic and the molecular level. You start at the very fundamental levels of particle physics and atomic structure. You assemble some of the basic codes that are now enabled because of the speed of computerization. You assemble some of the basic codes. Then you tell that initial particle structure to replicate itself, grow itself. And suddenly you have replicators everywhere. What's coming up on the planet is energy derived from two things. Number one, water. Water. There is so much energy in water, they just haven't figured out some of the basics. The next development after that is going to be, now we really kind of get out there, but it's anti-gravity. Once you understand some of those simple principles, suddenly you have basically unlimited, clean, free fuel. All these things are going to disrupt life on this planet. Not bad. It's just going to disrupt current systems. Nanotechnology, 3D printing, sensors. It's disruptive. The financial system effectively collapsed in about 2008, 2009, globally. Right now it's based only on trust. And actually, I'm going to amend that. Somebody else said that. Right now it's based on apathy.
Oh.
You're going to see something really interesting happen. It's already happening, but really brought to the forefront in the next 2 years. Old energy businesses, the bottom line oriented businesses are going to be trying to suppress the new energy businesses, conscious versus unconscious. And it's going to bring a lot of companies into the public eye. Unconsciousness will not have a place in business anymore. There's a couple major elements that are coming in. One is the new technology that allows for a much more efficient photosynthesis. That's going to have a profound effect. Now you're suddenly going to be able to feed the world. Easy. Suddenly you're going to be able to provide medical services to the world easily with a little device, a handheld device that everybody has. Suddenly you're going to have access to medical treatment from robotic clinics, and it'll be cool. Suddenly it changes everything on this planet. Suddenly you're not going to have banks controlling the money. It will be what I've called the co-ops, the point system that doesn't have to go through Federal Reserves and huge banks and credit card companies. It is peer-to-peer, or at least co-op to co-op. It's already being done. There are new technologies for water treatment to the point where countries like Israel in the next 4 to 5 years are going to be able to sustain their primary water needs on desalination alone. Education is one of my favorites. Quite simply put, the current education system is going to crumble apart, implode, be destroyed. It will be no longer significant. Virtual reality, it's the one I'm probably watching the closest because I'm not really sure what's happening. Where's that line between this reality and the others? In a way, it's a good thing because it gets one from being so locked into just this reality. But it's a matter of perception. So many do not really understand the difference anymore. So what happens when it goes virtual? When somebody puts on their helmet first thing in the morning? Where there's no clear lines anymore between physical reality and virtual reality. How would you use this virtual reality helmet? What would you do with it? Old Earth, New Earth. Do they come together or do they split apart? This is the critical point right now where the Earth either divides or melts. Is it brought together under this extreme, you could say, pressure, under the alchemy of this change? Is it brought together or does it separate in two? Do we end up with two Earths, with those of consciousness, living on this new Earth, a place of natural beauty, a place of true freedom and sovereignty, a place of honor and respect for others, all the things that you've dreamed about, a place where you're not imprisoned by your ancestral lineage. And then the other place of old Earth, for those who still like wars and battles, starvation, disease, all the rest of that. Is this the way the planet goes? Does it go into two? So I have to ask each and every one of you, this is a very important kind of defining point as well. What would you rather do?